Hey fellas, welcome back to part 5 of the B17 adventure. Let me show you what I got. Man, I got a bad hair day today. Ugh. Saturday I don't have to comb my hair. Alright, check this mother out. This thing is huge. Oh, it's gonna hit me in the head. So what I'm doing, I've got the fuselage halves together. I'm test fitting the wings, and they fit pretty well. Just like the B25, they just snap. You can snap them on and off. I'll obviously ship this with the wings off. The left wing here, there's a little bit of filing that I need to do to get it a better fit, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. But yeah, look how big that thing is. I still need to do some sanding on the seam lines. That'll be something I've been kind of putting it off just because it's going to be a lot of sanding. The seams actually aren't that bad for such a big plane, and the fuselage halves went together pretty well. What I had done with all these interior parts is when I glued them together, I stuck them in their little slots that these bulkheads fit in, and I made sure as I went along and glued them that they fit into those slots. And I had them dry I had let the glue dry while they were in the slots, so when I put it together, there wasn't a big issue with all those interior parts. So I'm pleased with how it went together. Hopefully I think the worst part of the seam lines are on the bottom, and I did that intentionally. Well, I didn't intentionally make bad seam lines, but I want to make sure that this top part here was the most important part, and then up here, and then I can work with the bottom area a lot easier than the top. And the bottom seam lines aren't that bad at all anyway. So yeah, let me see. I'm going to take these off, and these just plug in. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work on the stabilizers down here to get them to fit a little better. As you can see right here, there's a seam line along here, and that shouldn't be too bad to take care of. I'll just file down the inside of this so it sits in there better. Let's see if I can get these off. John, if I break this, I will fix it for you. They're kind of tight. There, it comes off. But they're on there pretty solidly. So keeping them on there is not going to be an issue. Once you get them on, I would just recommend not taking them off too much. Yay. So that's the quick view of the fuselage together, and then I put the rear gunner's position in. It's going to be a little clean up there, and then the nose cones are going to fit up here. I'm still kind of fine-tuning the bombardier's compartment to fit on there flush, just to limit the amount of seam cleanup that I have to do, because I prefer not to have to rescribe a bunch of panel lines and stuff. The riveting's not that bad. I've got a riveting tool, but it's best if I can limit how much detail I take out. Set that down. The last 2 days I've been the Sperry turret, I got that done. You can see here. It wasn't too bad. The owner supplied me with masks to mask off the windows, and without those, it would have taken me forever. I sprayed this with, once I got it masked off, I sprayed it with the interior green color. Not that you'll be able to tell because it's so dark in there. And then overcoated with a gloss black, then with various shades of aluminum to give it a little worn appearance. and I think it turned out pretty good, if I do say so myself. The upper turret, I got that completed. Not much to it, and then it just fits down in there. The top's gonna get masked off and painted. The windows, I added blue tint to this main window. From what I understand, some of the B17s, the upper turret guy, they tinted this window up here a blue, so I went ahead and sprayed that blue. Whether or not it's totally accurate to this plane, I'm not sure, but I like the look of it, and it just gives it a little something extra. I got that from Inclusive Model Designs. He did the same thing with his, and I thought it looked pretty cool. So we'll get that masked off and with the rest of the plane, and when I get it painted. The last couple days I've been working on because I've been putting off sanding. I've been working on the propellers and the engines, and let me show you a close-up of those. All right, here are the props and the engines. Now there's not a whole lot to the engines, basically 3 pieces. You've got the rods and the actual engine casings, and then this little thing in the back. And I painted those all up separately. I did add some wiring. As you can see here, these little wires with lead wire, and that took a little bit of time to get all that done. But those are going to be pretty prominent. The engines are going to be a pretty prominent feature, and I wanted to make those look as realistic as possible. I don't even know what you call these, but it goes in front of the engine, and it's where you hook the propeller up to. I painted all these, and one thing that I do is I hand paint little numbers on the side. I'm not sure if that's totally accurate, but I think it looks cool. So I went ahead and painted a different number on each one of these, and that'll help me remember which one is which. So the scratches I made with lead pencil, a little trick that I learned. And after I'd painted it, I'd put the scratches on, did some washes with dark brown black wash, and then overcoat it with a flat coat. The propellers turned out really well. I think these are some of the best propellers that I've done. I found a reference pic of a B17 propeller, and I really like the look of it. All the top pieces were worn, but they weren't worn too far down. So what I did with these is I painted them with aluminum, and then I sprayed some chipping fluid just on the top parts, and then took my NATO black and I sprayed up on each one of the blades after I painted the yellow ends, of course, and taped them off. But I sprayed the NATO black up to where it was thicker paint down here and thin, and gradually got thinner on the top. And then I took my my water and a stiff brush, and I just kind of scratched off that upper part of the paint on each one of these propellers. You can get a close-up. And it gave it almost is identical to the reference pic that I got. Then I sprayed the this rotary part right here. I sprayed that with regular black, and then I added a gloss to the tips of them. And I also did a little bit of chipping on those too, if you can see those. So yeah, the propellers turned out really well, and they fit on there just like that. And I think they'll look pretty good. So that's what I've been working on. I'm going to get to sanding and scribing and rescribing and riveting for the next couple days this weekend if I get time. It's supposed to be nice out, so I'll probably spend some time out by the pool with the family. But I'm gonna get to work on that, and hopefully early next week I'll get some paint on it, get some primer on it, and I'll probably do a kit review on what I think of the kit. So far, it's going together better than the B25 did, in my opinion. It's almost like it's a little more refined than the B25 was. But I'll get some primer on it. I'll do a kit review, and then we'll get to painting on it. So I'll see you then, part 6.